Good morning, guys. Welcome to season 6, episode 2 of How I Met Your Mortgage. I still can't believe we're in season 6 or that it's 2023. My name is Jen. I am your host today. Adam is traveling, so I get to talk to our guest just one-on-one. Adam's headed to the East Coast, so who knows if he'll pop on. I already warned Julia that who knows, he might just pop on at some point. So, but without further ado, I am very excited to welcome Julia Arnett to the show. Good morning, Julia.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this has been, we were just talking about it. It's been a long time coming. We've had this booked for probably 13, 14 months.
At least a year.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's so funny.
Very impressed by how many guests you guys have.
It's been amazing. It's been truly amazing. I do all of the back end podcasting, and just a quick tip for everybody. I do feel like there's a difference once you get 52 episodes of a show out there. That's where everything started to go crazy. Our viewership was up like 900% in 1 week, like craziness. So we're now booked into April of 2024. So if anyone's interested in being on the show, let me know sooner rather than later. But Julia, let's talk about you. How did you get into real estate? Tell us the background. How'd you get where you are now?
Sure. So my story is a little unorthodox, I think. I had no intention of getting into real estate. I actually graduated from the University of Denver, and I went into hospitality. I had been working in hospitality all throughout college, and went into the hotel side of hospitality right off the bat, and worked in that industry for about a year and a half after college. And it wasn't filling my cup. I wasn't loving it. And so I woke up one day and was like, I'm too young for this. I'm too motivated for this. And I literally just quit on the spot. I gave my 2 weeks, but I kind of had it. And so I was just kind of in a little bit of a crunch looking for a new position. And I came across actually the front desk position at a Keller Williams office, Keller Williams Integrity. And I said, I just want to give this a shot. And, rewind a little bit. I had moved a few times growing up. My parents actually had moved 14 times.
Oh, wow.
So I had always kind of had real estate in my blood deep down, constantly going in and out of homes and seeing what my parents were doing, living in new places. But so I went into this office, and I honestly fell in love with the people there. They were so willing to help me learn and grow. Really, really good support system. So I sat at the front desk and talked to agents and was like, I think I want to give being an agent a shot. So as I was at the front desk, I studied for my exam, took my exam, passed it, and then moved on into being an agent.
That's awesome. I mean, we talk a lot in our coaching program about how people with that customer service background excel so much in this industry. We talk a lot about like waitresses and hotels too, because I mean, you're people facing all the time. You're seeing people at their best and their worst, which totally translates into the real estate space. So what year were we talking that you made the shift into real estate?
This was at the very end of 2017.
Okay. So not really that long ago.
No,
5 years.
Really not that long at all.
That's incredible. Okay. So how did your career on this side of things start out? What were you doing for lead generation? What did it look like your first couple years?
Yes. So I originally I threw everything at the wall to kind of see if anything stuck. And so, I mean, I was door knocking, holding open houses, cold calling expireds. I mean, really everything you're told to do, quote unquote, as a new agent. I did join some teams early on. And so I learned a lot through the people that had the leads on those teams. But really where it all kind of started to come together and make sense was early last year. My parents, I'm originally from the Bay Area, San Francisco, and my parents actually ended up moving out to Denver. And my mom had been dabbling in real estate in California. Nancy Arnett is her name. And she came out here and she was like, I think I want to do this real estate thing too. And I was like, I loved that. So I said, why don't we start our own team? And at this point we were still at Keller Williams, and they supported us over there. We were the Arnett team. That's where it started. And a lot of our business did become referral based at that point. It was, I think, a time in my life where a lot of my friends from the University of Denver who were still out here were becoming interested in real estate and buying homes. And then also she was kind of connecting to a little bit of an older demographic,
right?
Who were looking to actually sell and either downgrade or maybe move kind of outside of the city. So we really started to pick up traction through that, through that referral business. And then on top of that, we did make a decision to move brokerages to Mile High Modern, and our business grew exponentially there. Their support.
Yeah, those numbers are been. You had a very nice year. That's incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, we could not have been happier with the move and the level of service that they enable us with as their agents is in my opinion just far and above.
That's awesome. So are you guys still the Arnett team?
We are still the Arnett team. So my mom and I work together, and it's 99% the best thing in the entire world. 1%, as everybody can imagine, working with their mothers.
Right.
She would say the same about working with her daughter.
Right. I'm sure she would say it's 99% the best thing ever too.
Yes.
But you are still family, and family
That's
comes
right.
with those things.
Right.
I love that though, like that you have this circle of people that you know from college, and then just like you said, she, has the older demographic that she can work with too, which makes you guys such a solid team. When you're talking about referrals, how are you staying top of mind with people for referrals? What does your lead generation look like now?
Yes. So, referrals is a funny thing. I think every agent that you talk to in this business is like, their dream is a referral-based business. And they always, no matter how long or how short they've been in the business, it's referrals, referrals, referrals. Well, referrals, yes, they are a huge part of our business. But at the same time, they don't make up 100% of our business. So we really, really try to stay top of mind with that base. We are intentional about the events that we're inviting them to and we're putting on for them. We do pop-bys every 2 months for them. So we are physically in front of them with just a little something. We have a newsletter campaign that goes out every month. We have an open house tour campaign that we personalize that goes out every week. So we try to stay in front of them without bugging them, which is of course what everyone's goal is. But then, referral-based business, yes, as much as I would love to say that's our entire business, we also are very aware of the fact that we need to get a new base of clients as well. So we do farm a very, very specific area. And again, we host 2 major events for that farm each year.
Tell us more about the events. What do you guys do for those?
So last year we did 2 events, one of which was at a park. It's in the Cherry Creek area. We ordered an ice cream truck, and it was really simple. It was in the summer. We invited all families, dogs. Everyone was welcome, and we customed our napkins. We custom water bottles. We put our labels on it. So again, just a way to get in front of people, and meet people face to face, because when you're farming an area, it's typically just mailing.
Yeah.
So that was really nice for them to put a name to a face. And then in the winter, we did like a hot cocoa party at my home.
Cute.
So we invited people into the house, and it was a hot cocoa party with a food drive as well.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, people really, really enjoyed that. And again, I think year one, we were doing, little happy hours here and there, or, just kind of smaller events, meet and greets. We would try to put on classes occasionally, and just realize that wasn't really right for us. And so it was really about kind of stepping back and getting intentional about what we were doing and where we were doing it.
Yeah, intentional, authentic to who you guys really are,
Yeah.
instead of doing the stereotype. Like you were saying, when you got into the industry and you were trying anything, like the things you're
Right.
supposed to do.
Right.
I always love that, because it's usually what you're not supposed to do that works out so well. Erica, who works here in our office, said, "I love that you included giving at the winter event." Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so many people just do things in the summer and they can't figure out what to do with people in the winter. And hot cocoa event sounds great. One of our colleagues.
There's also wine, but that's
I mean, makes sense. Yeah, one of our colleagues out in California, he does movie theater events. So he rents out an entire movie theater and he does big movie theater events for his circle. But that really aligns with his personality and who he is and the type of people he wants to attract.
Sure.
Basically, the basis of our whole coaching program is showing up as who you are and talking about who you are, not just what you do. And it seems like you're great at doing that. I'd love to back up a little bit, though. And you mentioned a newsletter. And what's so interesting to me is that newsletters are really coming back to life. So, for instance, our newsletter, we have a biweekly newsletter for the mortgage circle, and then we have a monthly newsletter for our coaching circle. But our mortgage one is up to almost a 60% open rate and a 3 to 6% click rate, which is insane. 3 years ago, it was, a 12% open rate.
Right.
So newsletters are really good. People are getting back into their emails as long as what you're sending out is intentional and useful. So I'd love to hear about what you guys are including in your newsletters.
Yes. So we, a lot of our newsletter is obviously about real estate. And it does include market updates and some statistics. Again, this goes out monthly. But it also, we do have some fun, our last one had predicted 2023 interior design ideas, so we do try to kind of mix in a little bit of fun there. But I also am very into the fitness world. And so we try to highlight a new gym or a new class in our newsletter each month, which it's been a hit. And a lot of people are, kind of curious or will ask me questions, which as realtors, we know that just starting a conversation is success. So
absolutely,
that's been really great. And then, yeah, we really try to do, honestly, it's like a 20-80 balance, I would say. 20% kind of more, again, those updates, educational, and then 80% what's going on in town, what my favorite restaurant I just tried, where we just grabbed happy hour. So we try to balance.
Yeah, because that's the exact percentage that we coach on social media is 80% personal, 20% business. There's Andrew Goldberg, who's in town. His newsletter is been one of the best ones I've ever seen. I read it every time it comes out. And it's the 80% that's about things happening in town that gets me to read the 20%. about real estate.
Mhm.
He does like concerts coming up, and he'll even feature listings from other agents. But I know you mentioned in your notes for the show that you're a foodie, so I love that you mentioned restaurants, but that's also a great way just to support local businesses of where you are. And, you know, again, showing that we're about the community and it's not just about buying and selling homes.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
our newsletter, I think some of the top ones that are, we had one go out that was DIY projects you should not do in your home. So,
Yes.
and that one had one of the top open rates. And we have like restaurants to check out in the new year, and we have the quarterly updates too. So there's 4 a year that are focused on the market, and they typically do really well. But it's more fun doing the other stuff that your
Well,
market cares about.
exactly. And I think you have to just be cognizant of the fact that these newsletters not only are going out to our sphere, but they're going out to our past clients. And, um, you know, for the sphere specifically, unless you're really thinking, unless real estate is really top of mind in your brain, you're not really that interested in
Right.
a market update or what,
No.
123 Main Street just sold for. So again, it's really the newsletter's primary goal is to just get people engaged with us,
Yeah.
and that's what it's been so far.
And especially the shift in the market, it's going to be that great reminder of, hey, we're the Arnett team. We're still here. We're still doing this. We're still supporting you in our community. And you're right. The person that just bought a house isn't interested in knowing about buying a house right
They want to
now,
know
but
their home value, and that's it.
exactly. And they want to know what restaurant nearby to go check
Right.
out, or what spin class to go take, or whatever.
Mhm. Mhm.
Very cool. Okay, so I want to shift gears a little bit to what we were talking about before the show about the market shifts, about systems, and all of that. During 2020, we talked a lot about it being the time to see where those holes were in systems, right? Because especially on the mortgage side with refinances, the market was insane and we were incredibly busy. So while the rest of the world was kind of slowing down, real estate sped up.
Mhm.
So we weren't able to make those shifts in systems, even though we saw where the holes are.
Mhm.
And you mentioned that now you're able to go back and get some systems in place. And I'd love to hear more about what that process has been like and what kind of systems you guys are working on.
Yes. So, to your point, these past, 4 to 6 months have been a really, really good time for us. Especially for my mom and I, we kind of formulated this team right when we were in the midst of an explosion in the market. And so, again, really just honing in on exactly what works for us. We do use Follow Up Boss. We also have an account through Resora, which I'm not sure if it's specific to Mile High Modern or if that's a bigger database, but we have such a good system now that we really feel confident that none of our clients, especially our past clients, are not being quote unquote touched, which is the term we use in real estate. So just checked in on, and we never feel as though anyone's slipping through the cracks because of how systematized we've become. And I mean, it's like literally after every single closing, after we get back from the closing table, we go right into our computers and we set those people up on exactly the plan we need. And it's not all automatic, right? Like some of those touches are going to be a phone call from us, are going to be a text message from us, are going to be an invite to our next event. So I will admittedly, we didn't have that prior. And
Yeah.
so that's been really, really helpful with a little bit more downtime, which again, I told you earlier, I think is a good thing for real estate agents. The market we were in was simply just not sustainable for both, sellers, buyers, and agents. So
Yeah.
this is, in our opinion, the absolute best market. It's an ideal market. It's a fair market. And as agents, I think the most important thing, and I think what makes a really good agent, is just being able to transition with what's going on, and mold to what's going on, no matter how long you've been in the business. So that's what we're doing, and we don't know what's going to happen in 6 months. We don't know what's going to, the past 3 years, 2 years have completely thrown a wrench in the, quote unquote,
Mhm.
what our markets are going to look like, or the traditional trajectory. So we're moving, we're learning, and we're helping buyers and sellers in the market we're in today.
Yeah, I think that's such a great point. We put out a weekly little tip, and the one that came to mind when you were talking is we had one that I titled "The Sky Isn't Falling," because with interest rates going up and people in the industry running around like chickens with their heads cut off because this giant shift. But you're right, the people that are going to stay, that are going to continue to succeed in this market, are adaptable, and they can help their clients see the benefits of any market.
Mhm.
And I mentioned it to you before the show, but I was one of those buyers running around like a chicken with my head cut off because I wanted to get into a house so badly. But I
Mhm.
mean, was putting on offers of properties I'd never seen, which I know was pretty typical, especially
Very.
during COVID. But I had COVID and couldn't go see this condo, and I was like, just put an offer
Yeah.
in. I don't care. And I got to the point I was like, this doesn't align with who I am. This is not how I want to make the biggest financial decision of my life. Like,
Wow.
being able to take a breath now and really work with an agent who can listen to what you need in a home, or what you need in selling your home. And it's just a more peaceful, aligned, less chaotic, like not offering 20,000 over on something that's overpriced already. And just, yeah, it's just back in like a calmer space. I feel like that even with higher interest rates, I mean, 2% interest rates could not last forever by
No,
any means.
no.
So I know it's you and your mom on your team. What kind of support staff do you guys have?
We have a transaction coordinator who is back of the house. She's incredible. We have a marketing team who, is more than happy to assist with any marketing we need, which means flyers, and it means open house signs. It means invitations, farming help. We have we have managing brokers who are absolutely incredible, which I think a lot of agents oftentimes overlook the incredible resource that a managing broker is and can provide, just the insight and the continuing education weekly from them in terms of contractual education has been so incredibly helpful, and has, I believe, truly made us both better agents. And then again, really, this is kind of cheesy, but the agents there, the agents are just, they work at such an elevated level. I'm really inspired by them every single day, and we work with 2 small mastermind groups, and they really hold us accountable, which has also, I believe, contributed to an increase in our business. And then finally, our coach. So our coach and our 2 mastermind groups are just incredible resources. And I truly think that every agent, and I know how hard it is for especially new agents, to figure out what to do and how to do it. So, I think coaching is one of the best investments you can make when getting into this business.
Yeah. And I know you said it sounds cheesy, and of course, I mean, it sounds cheesy, but it isn't. Surrounding yourself by people that want to elevate you, that
Yeah.
you want to elevate, and that they're probably inspired by you too. I have no doubt. There's a lot to be said for that. I mean, if you're in a brokerage where everybody's kind of okay at operating at a lower level, that's not
Right.
going to inspire you versus being surrounded. And of course, we're big advocates for coaching, but Adam always has a coach too. I have a business coach, like
Mhm.
all about there's so much information out there. There's not a lot of new information, but there's different ways of presenting it. And
Right.
I mean, something as simple as like calendar blocking, like when it's presented
Yes.
in a different way, can totally change your whole life. Just
Yes.
something so simple.
And I think the biggest kind of the most pivotal point in our decision making to change brokerages was really just like we both looked at each other and were like, ooh, this is kind of scary. These are high produce, like this whole office is very high producing. And then we were like, that's exactly what we need. We need we need to step outside of our comfort zone and be challenged. And that's what happens. So yeah, I think really surrounding yourself by a crew of people that are gonna raise you up is very important.
Yeah, I think you kind of nailed it right there too. Like the spaces that you're a little intimidated in, the spaces that scare you a little bit, like I'm all about leaning into the fear instead of leaning away from it. Like there's growth in fear for sure, especially, you know, when it comes to coaching, when it comes to brokerages and who you surround yourself with. And because your production has been through the roof, especially since changing brokerages. So that's incredible. Do you guys have any plans to bring on more agents into your team? Or are you hanging out just the two of you, or what are you thinking there?
We are, for now, we have no plans to bring anyone else on. I think eventually down the line, and again, I have to go back to kind of really how we've outlined our business in the past 4 months and really put systems in place. Our goal is to walk away from our business one day and to have it completely running the exact way we want it to be run. So I believe that we are setting ourselves up right now, but we have not talked about bringing anyone else on at this point in time. So we feel like we're still, you know, building
Figuring it out.
building our team. Yeah. One
Yeah,
day, you never know.
There's a lot to be. I mean, you've only been in the business since late 2017,
That's
which
right.
is incredible. No, that's very cool. We talk a lot in Just the Tips about setting up your business so that you can walk away from it and it keeps making money for you and it keeps running the way that you authentically set it up.
Right.
So,
right.
Cool. Well, what do you see coming in 2023, 2024? What's down the road for the Arnett team?
For the Arnett team, we just want to continue to grow. We want to, you know, the sky is the limit. We have a lot more growth. We are really passionate about focusing on listings this year. We want to take more listings. We also, kind of on the contrary, love to work with first-time home buyers. So that's kind of my niche. So really educating people and really just hitting home that investing in real estate can be scary, but it truly is one of the best decisions you can make. And I say that personally. I bought a home last year and I've already made money on it. So it's scary, it's intimidating, but we just want to stress that with the right mentorship, leadership, negotiators, it will be a smooth process and you'll be so happy with it at the end of the day.
I love it. I love it. Maybe next time we'll get you back on the show and maybe we'll get your mom on the show too.
Would love that.
That would be cool. It'll be season 7. I think April, you know, just over a year out and see where you guys are. Maybe by then you'll be ready to build your team and who knows what'll be going on. Well, thank you so much, Julia. I really appreciate your time this morning. If anybody's looking, if a first-time home buyer's looking in the Cherry Creek area, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
You can call me, which I'm sure my information, both phone number and email, will be, I'm sure in notes of sorts. Absolutely. But I also am on Instagram. I'm very, very present on social media. So juliaarnett.team is my handle. So feel free to follow me there. Follow our account, DM us there. And I'm pretty easy to find online, I think.
Cool.
Just give it a Google.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, I will make sure all of that information is in the show notes, the captions everywhere. But yes, we would love to have you back on the show. I'm sure Adam would agree. And I think it'd be very cool to have your mom on the show
Yes,
too.
we
We
would
can have a
love
chat,
that.
the four of us. So I will reach out about that. But for everybody listening and watching, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. You can catch us every Monday at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. And if you want to find out more about us, you can text TIPS, TIPS, to 63566, and it will send you back recent episodes of the show. It'll send you back our weekly little tip, how you can get Adam's book, Just the Tips. Very, very soon, we'll be releasing tickets for Social Media Day Denver 2023 and the Mile High Mastermind 2023. So both very big things coming to the text code, to the websites. But again, thank you to Julia. I really appreciate you taking the time. This was great. It was great to get to know you a little bit better. Hang out for just a minute. I'd love to talk to you a little bit more offline. And for everybody else, we will see you next Monday for another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you.